Hello everybody and Merry Christmas. Welcome to Stefan's Kitchen, and because it's the holidays, let's cook a baked turkey. I mean, Jesus, why not? So this is going to be a very basic recipe, so don't expect anything extravagant. This is just for people who want a quick, easy way to cook their turkey and make sure that it's just going to taste good overall. So nothing too fancy, nothing too, weird or different or exotic with this. It's just going to be a plain baked turkey. So what I'm going to do here, obviously, as you can see, is I'm going to, you want to let your turkey thaw out about a day. And no, you don't want it to be warm, obviously. So as soon as you feel like most of the ice is gone out of it and it's just kind of cool, you want to make sure you can place it in your fridge to keep it cool until you're ready to cook it. Now, usually I take mine out around the afternoon the day before, and then by that morning, it's pretty much good to go, so I don't have to refrigerate mine. So it works out fairly well. As you can see here, I'm letting all the juice and all the water and blood drain out of that before I put it in my big ass roaster. And if your turkey legs or wings or anything are all tied up, sometimes they do it with skin, sometimes they have a little piece of plastic. Remove that, because you don't want your legs and wings in too close, because it'll make the turkey take longer to cook and stuff. So, as always, the one big thing that I always say that people need to do with cooking is season. So, as you can see, I've used a little bit of sea salt. And next I'm going to use some of that Tallow cherry black pepper. We're going to grind that stuff right over there. I don't even know why I tried to show you guys that again. That was weird. But anyways, you guys know what it is. Black pepper is black pepper. I just use cracked black pepper. It's just totally up to you the way you want it. I find cracked black pepper is slightly better than the really powdery stuff that you get at the store and that people mostly have in their house and stuff. So I think black pepper, like these little things that have the grinders on them, I think they're starting to become bigger and bigger now as well. So yeah, as you can tell, I'm very meticulous in the way that I season my stuff. I'm really weird. You want to see me butter a slice of bread? I gotta make sure that every square inch of that bread is covered. Okay, and now we're gonna put on a little bit of garlic powder. And that's just to give it a bit of extra flavor. Don't worry, it's not going to taste bad or anything like that. I enjoy having garlic in a lot of the food I eat anyways, so you can omit that if you want to. I prefer to have it on there. Next, I'm sprinkling on some sage, as you can see, and you can be generous with sage. Fresh stuff is obviously much better, but again, not going too fancy, nothing too, extravagant. And instead of using water with your, like a lot of people like to put a little bit of water in the bottom of the pan to make sure it doesn't burn on, to, help it cook and to give it some, so that the drippings kind of extend a little bit more. But I prefer to use chicken stock. That way you're not adding just plain tasteless water and taking away from the flavor of your turkey. Instead, you're actually adding to the flavor, because when you go to make gravy later with the drippings, you're going to be using, chicken stock and not water. So that's very helpful, in my opinion. So once you have all this done, we're going to put this in the oven and we're going to let it pre-cook a little bit. And we're probably going to let it cook for about hour and a half before we're going to take it out. And right now it's a little dry, so what we're going to do is we're going to put a little tiny bit of olive oil over the top. And something that you have to worry about while doing something like this is that you might brush off a lot of the seasoning down into the bottom of the pan. If that's the case, if you notice that a lot of your seasoning is coming off, by all means, reapply some of your seasoning. Not too much, not the full extent again, but just reapply a little bit of seasoning a little bit at a time, just to you think that it looks, fine. Another thing that people like to do is brine their turkeys, which is soak it in salted water. I prefer not to do that too often, but that's just me. And as you can see here, I'm being a little girly man trying to flick the garlic bulbs inside of the turkey. So again, I enjoy having garlic in my turkey. Then we're going to return it to the oven until it's cooked for about another 3 to 4 hours, depending on how big your turkey is. I mean, you gotta make sure that you cook it all the way through. Use a thermometer if you have to. So as you can see, my turkey has got a nice brown to it. That was the oil that helps with that. And it's not overcooked, as you can see. With a closer look, you can see that it's not overcooked. It's got a really nice golden brown color to it. It's not dry either. By putting the oil on there too, it makes the skin almost shrink up over your meat, and it keeps a lot more of the moisture in, and a lot of people don't realize that, but that's a little secret, little hint kind of thing that I do. Now, another thing that you can do with this as well is you can put in onions. Onions are always a welcome thing. I like to chop up a lot of onions, put them underneath the turkey, so that way all that onion flavor is going up through your turkey. And also, then that way, if you have someone who's a bit picky about onions, you get the flavor, but they don't have to eat them. So, I mean, that works out quite well. So, next, what you're going to want to do is carve it up and serve it. And as you can see here, we had a semi-traditional Newfoundland dinner. We had some boiled potatoes. I kept the skins on them. Let's keep in all the nutrients and vitamins, the little bit that are in potatoes. Next, there to the very front, that is mashed turnip. And obviously, that's a carrot and some peas and corn, and my turkey is there in the back with some gravy. And I always make my gravy from the drippings and a little bit of the vegetable stock that comes from boiling your vegetables together. And then that way you have a really nice, really tasty gravy. And I usually thicken mine with warm water and flour. Some people use cornstarch, but I find that if you want to reuse that gravy, cornstarch almost turns it into jello. And that's just the way the cornstarch is. But it does give it a nice shine, it does give it a nice look. But in my opinion, I find that gravies made with flour are much better. So, hopefully this helps some of you guys, or some of your families, your moms, your dads, whoever cooks your dinner for you. And let me know if this helped at all. And as always, thank you all for watching, and have a Merry Christmas.